Hi, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us. I'm Kat Shear, and this is a special presentation from Clydesdale Media. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone about our sponsors. RX Smart Gear provides world-class jump ropes, grips, and other gear for us all. Use the code Clydesdale15 for 15% off your order at rxsmartgear.com. Mobility Movement is a program that teaches you how to increase your capacity to heal, reduce recovery time, and restore your nervous system to peak health. Everyone gets a 7-day trial, and after that, our followers will get their first month free when they use the code Clydesdale Free Month at mobilitymovement.com. And finally, C4 Energy, delivering the most effective, best tasting, and highest quality products. Get 20% off when you use the code Clydesdale at checkout at c4energy.com. And today on Meet the Athlete, we have Atlas Games semifinalist Jack Rozema. Jack, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Kat. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for taking time to do so.
Yeah.
Your first Open was in 2017.
Yep, correct.
And in 2021, you qualified for the Granite Games. You placed 15th at the Granite Games, so no stranger to semifinal action.
Yeah.
But this year, you're going back to Atlas Games. So tell us a little bit about your season this year.
Yeah. So it was just kind of normal here. So I found a cool gym, 785 Athletics here in Manhattan, Kansas. That's where I live now. So I did the quarterfinals there. Did the Open. The structure the way it is now, you don't really have to place a whole lot of emphasis on the Open. So I just kind of trained through it, didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to it, and then really put the focus on quarterfinals. So I just did that as best I could, and then it ended up getting a couple of good scores in that pulled me up, I think, in the top 80 or so. So, and then we didn't really have a chance to state our preferences for semifinals.
Sure.
I mean, they sent out a survey where you basically just told them if you intended to accept an invite, and then where you live, and then if there was any restrictions or anything like that. But you weren't able to put your preferences. So the Atlas Games, full disclosure, wouldn't have been my first choice, but that's the one I'm going to.
Sure.
So
you take what you can get, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm grateful to be able to compete and go. There's obviously it's a very competitive field this year with the guys that are there. So it'll be very, very fun to test myself against those guys and see what comes of it. So I'm pretty excited to be heading up there to Montreal in a few days. So
yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Did you last year? I think athletes got a choice, right? You could rank order your semis. Do you recall that process last year? And where did Granite Games fall?
So I personally don't recall that, because I don't think I did, because I actually got backfilled last year. So
okay, so yes. You were
I was basically
icing on the cake for you. You're like, send me anywhere.
Exactly, at that point. So I think it was last year. It was pretty difficult because I was just joining. So I'm a JAG in the Army. I was just doing my training last year for that job. So it was in the JAG school, which is in Virginia, and that was from the first week of March through May, mid-May. So that was right in quarterfinals. So it was just that training portion, really, for the Army at least, really restricted the ability of myself, basically my ability to train the way I wanted to. So I just wasn't able to really put my best effort into quarterfinals. So I think I landed at 123rd or something like that when the top 120 qualify. So didn't get the first round invite. I think it was the quarterfinals were around the same time, I think late March, early April. And I didn't get an email until first week of May that said you've been basically you've been backfilled. If you want to go to semifinals, your semifinal is the Granite Games, because however people pulled out and withdrew or declined their invite or whatever, that was just the way it happened. So I was just, like you said, I was happy to go to anyone at that point, because I figured, just because I knew a few people. The guy I was actually training with at the time, his name's Connor Duddy, who will be actually at the Atlas Games this year as well. I was actually training with him in Virginia, and just mutually we knew a couple people on the leaderboard that were going to either go team or just straight up decline their invite. So I kind of knew it was coming. So I was, still training for semis up until that point and stuff. So because I had a good feeling that was coming, just not that it was going to take that long or to get that. So, but it was cool to get that invite still. I've always been more of I prefer in-person competitions, I guess is what I'll say, because
Sure.
if you just look at seating purposes, me getting backfilled as one of the very last spots, but then I take 15th.
Right.
It's not, those numbers don't compute very well. So it wasn't,
Sure.
and I knew that going in, like I just said, it wasn't like an ideal season for me due to life circumstances, but it was happy to compete there. That was actually the second time I've been at the Granite Games. The 2019, I was there as an elite individual too. And they always
I think I judged you.
Really?
Yeah, I was a judge that year.
That was still that was my big kind of eye-opening experience there, because that was definitely my first individual big time competition with some of the guys that were there. So that was fun. And I just, nothing but good things to say about the Granite Games. They always run it super smooth and super well.
Yeah, they do a nice job. Let me ask you this.
Absolutely.
Difference between the St. Cloud facility and the Vikings Center place.
Yeah, the Vikings training facility is obviously just super nice. Like, training facility for an NFL team is a little bit different than the NAIA Division II hockey arena or whatever that was in. So I will say this though, that was I'm not someone who enjoys the heat. I don't ever have fantasies of retiring in Florida or anything like that. So competing in the ice arena for most of the weekend was very nice. Last year it was 90. I think it was 95 all 3 days at the Granite Games, and so on the football field it was like 110. So it was everyone
not ideal.
Yeah, everyone was in there sucking it up together. So it's not like I have anything to say it was a disadvantage or anything, but it was those were the only things that I'll say I missed about the St. Cloud part. Was it was kind of cool in that in that arena.
Yeah.
But no, the facilities, and I'm sure as we'll all see this weekend, will be pretty cool again. It's very, very cool to compete on that field all weekend. So
let me ask you some follow-up questions to what you mentioned before. You said that your 123rd placing last year was more of an indication of circumstances around your training, due to your job and everything else, which is fair.
Yeah.
How do you feel like that 80th place is in terms of it being indicative of your preparation and training this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to say. Like I said, there's lots of variables when it comes to online competitions, and it depends on how closely you've been following it this season. With just CrossFit HQ, and the judging and the scoring hasn't been the smoothest.
Did you get penalties?
I actually did not. So I personally got I think it was workout 2 and workout 5 of quarterfinals. I think within an hour of the deadline. It might not have been as fast as an hour. Maybe I shouldn't say that. But it was like that afternoon that I got an email for both of those events that said they'd been accepted with no penalties. So
nice.
And that was so event 2 was the one with all the pistols, where everyone just got demolished with the judging of the pistols. So apparently I did halfway decent pistols. Or they didn't look at your video. Yeah, or they were just like, this guy, this guy's in I'm
gonna get in trouble for saying that, but yeah. Never know.
No one. Yeah, it's all good. So it was. I don't. In terms of indicative, I think it's indicative of I have some holes still that I definitely have been focusing on since quarterfinals. There are some areas where I'm not where I need to be. I also, I just think that it doesn't necessarily have any indication of where you will finish, at semifinals or anything like that. So honestly, as far as I'm concerned, I could have been, 5th or 115th, and I wouldn't really care whether I'm in heat 1 or heat 3 on the first day of semifinals. I'm going to look at it the same way and attack it with the same strategy, and just try to put my best version of myself on the floor at the end of the day. So that's kind of all that really came that I think of when I think of my quarterfinals placement. So,
okay. Tell us a little bit about what you learned, biggest takeaways from your experience last year.
Of in-person semis?
Of just, being at the Granite Games, competing in that field, how did it affect your training going forward?
So I just in general, strength is something that I don't really need to work on. And it's just, I need to maintain strength, and I need to continue to work on gymnastics, high volume, just shoulder stamina, core stamina when it comes to toes to bar, GHD, stuff like that. I bought a 30-pound wall ball for my home gym, so I really don't ever use a 20 anymore, because there was a GHD 30-pound wall ball workout that absolutely trashed me at the Granite Games last year, which it was probably the worst I've ever felt, like on a competition floor, just like physically, like not just feeling sorry for myself. I mean, like physically, I was trashed.
Like it wore you out. Yeah.
Yeah. So just that stuff. I mean, ever since I joined or like started doing CrossFit, like gymnastics was always a huge hole and just like a weakness coming from. So I wrestled in college. And so I had kind of just like that general weightlifting, strength and conditioning background. But, you know, it probably took me 6 or 9 months to like before I got a bar muscle up in 2017. So it was probably almost 2018 before I'd even done a muscle up before. So like stuff like that, I've just kind of been hammering. That's what I took away from last season. And really just, I think looking at each workout and planning accordingly, because sometimes there's just different strategies that you have to apply in terms of, am I going to hammer this in the beginning and then just try to hold on? Or am I going to try to gradually get faster as the workout goes and, try to finish on a high note? Like whether those, so just walking through those in my mind and really looking at workouts in pieces and analyzing them as much as possible beforehand. I mean, but then once 3, 2, 1 goes, I mean, you just, once you're locked in and you're just trying to put your best effort out there, that's really all it comes down to. And outside of, I think, just the actual competition floor, over the last year, I realized I need more sleep. I need to actually lock in nutrition a lot more. And I've actually, until about 3 or 4 months ago, I've never actually followed a strict program. So in terms of like, I've never had someone program for me or actually follow like a programming. And I have a buddy who's now with Underdogs Athletics who kind of hooked me up with their programming. So for the last couple months, I've been following that to a T as much as I can. So really those little things, really focusing on recovery and mobility and are just stuff that I never really did before, because I didn't, I either made excuses like I don't have time or I have to do this and I have other things going on. So it's really just getting to the point where on competition day, I can look back and say I did every single thing in my power to put the best product out there and then let the chips fall where they may. So I put like when I made my garage gym this year, I wrote on the wall, surrender the outcome, because I think I've needed to, in the past, I focused too much on what do I need to place in this. You know what I mean? It's a failure if I don't reach this time, or like make this placement. But like I just said, I think controlling all the things that I can control, and then ending up at the end just saying like, I did everything I could, and the outcome is what it is. So yeah.
Yeah. Are there athletes that you competed against at Granite Games that are going to be at Atlas?
Honestly, I can't really think of any off the top of my head.
You haven't dug that deep? Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to. So I know like a few, honestly, because it's mostly it's not mostly Canadians, but it's a lot of Canadians. I've never competed against Vellner Adler or Alex Caron or Alex Vigneault. I would have to look at maybe I can pull up maybe like the leaderboard or anything like that.
Leaderboard, yeah.
So let's look at Atlas Games.
Did you? How are you at parallel handstand push-ups?
So that's one thing. It's like just handstand push-ups in general. I've been really trying to hammer over the last few months, like I said, because it's been a weakness in the past. So I have parallettes at home that I throw in as much as I can. So yeah, that'll be a good one that I'm excited.
That pressing is a little bit different than pulling too, though. I know, like I struggle with gymnastics as well, but it's pulling stuff. The ring muscle ups, bar muscle ups. I'm pretty decent at the pressing stuff. Like the handstand push-ups aren't as much of an issue for me, but
no, I don't
strong
think
shoulders and press.
Yeah, I don't think any. I think maybe Austin Spencer, who was at the Granite Games last year. And Connor Duddy, like I said, I trained with him. I've never actually competed on the same floor with him, but honestly, those are the only names.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, those. Yeah, we talked a little bit about how we're both going there, so that'll be cool for sure to
I
go through that.
actually think my co-host Scott is interviewing Connor in like a couple hours, so
Okay.
he's next.
Yeah.
He's next on our list.
Nice.
Tell me a little bit about Army Warrior Fitness. Are you part of that?
So I'm what's called an
Oh.
at-large athlete for them currently.
Okay.
So basically, I have I'm an attorney at Fort Riley, which is my full-time job, and then as I qualify for events that are kind of they have to be bigger scale. Like I can't go to like your local mom and pop gym down the road and have just and have the Army be there and pay for me to try to drive there or whatever. So, but if they're bigger events like Wadapalooza, cross obviously the whole structure of the CrossFit Games season. If I make semifinals and then if I make the games, I would be part of their team. I would just travel as part of their team and represent them at that competition. So,
Okay, so
yes.
will you be decked out in that gear for the weekend then?
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
Yep.
Very cool.
Correct.
Do you know Jacob?
Yeah.
Do you know Jacob Pfaff?
Yeah. We've talked a few times, and I was on a team at Wadapalooza with two other Warrior Fitness team athletes. One of them was Luke Cuneo, who was actually at Fort Knox on the full-time team, and then Cam Crockett, who actually just competed at the MAC. I believe he's finishing up ROTC in college. So I believe that's how. So us three were on a team there, and Jacob was there as well on just a different team. I don't think he was there as part of the fitness team. I'm honestly not sure.
He's probably just hanging out with his friends. It's all good.
But yeah, yeah, he's a beast for sure.
Yeah, he's a good dude. So let's just go into your personal life just a little bit. Are you married, kids, dogs?
So I do.
Cats?
I am. Yeah, I'm married to my wife Melanie, and we have a daughter Riley, who is as of May she was 9 months old. So now she's going on 10 months.
Oh wow.
So
okay.
yeah.
So you aren't getting a whole lot of sleep probably.
Thankfully my wife is amazing, and she is the best mother that I could ever have asked for. So she handles a lot of Riley's, like I'm just saying she knows that I place a lot of emphasis on training and just stuff like that. So if it's a scenario where like I have to get sleep these nights because I'm trying to train or whatever, she handles a lot of that stuff. But Riley, our daughter, is actually a very good sleeper. Once she gets to sleep, recently, that's been the issue, which we're actually kind of, I think, just getting on the other side of actually sleep training her. So that's getting better.
You letting her cry it out?
Yeah. Once she's asleep, she stays asleep and for a good, 7-8 hours usually. So that's good. Yeah.
What's the longest you've had to let her go?
I don't. So I'm a little bit different than Mel. Like Mel won't let her cry for too long, I think, because she's too much of a loving mother, because she just can't stand to hear it. But yeah, I think we've but she's also like real and objective and knows that she has to take certain steps so that this doesn't continue to become a problem. Around like 45 minutes or an hour, she doesn't give up. Riley doesn't give up for sure. I think if we let her go, she would cry all day and all night long. So,
well, maybe she can apply that talent to other things for good, as she gets older. It can't be a bad thing.
Yeah. It's either stubborn or just strong-willed, however you want to.
Yeah, either one might be good. Does your wife do CrossFit?
She doesn't. No.
No. Okay. Yeah, I'm in that situation too. My spouse does not do it, but it sounds like she understands, the sacrifice and what it takes and all that. So that's cool.
Absolutely.
I love it.
She's very supportive.
So I'm guessing she's probably not making the trip.
Yeah. So she and Riley will. I'm actually from Michigan.
Okay.
Originally, we both were. We met in high school. Me and Mel did. So, she's probably going to be spending time with family in Michigan while I'm gone in Canada. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who all is coming with you? Who's got your coach's pass? Who's carrying your bags?
It is me, myself, and I going. So
really?
just me. Yeah. That's the plan.
All right. So there's a guy that I interviewed yesterday. His name is Drake Stewart.
Drake Stewart.
He is one of your competitors.
Okay.
Young guy. How old are you?
I am 26. I'll turn 27 in October.
Okay. He's 23. He has a 5-month-old son. So you guys are kind of like in the same boat here. He's brand new, like this is his first semifinal event. He does not have anyone going with him. So I'm going to suggest that the two of you hook up and like take care of each other, because
is it Drake Lewis?
Drake Lewis. I'm sorry. Okay. I said Stewart. Yeah.
I just still have the leaderboard open. So that's just why I was looking for what you just said.
Yeah. I mean, I'm literally going to send you all like a 3-way DM and we're going to talk and we're going to talk this out, because I felt so bad for him that, I mean, you're a little more seasoned, like, you know what you're doing. This is like his first big competition. And I'm just concerned. My motherly instincts have turned on and I'm like, we need to get Stewart a +1, you know, or a coach's pass. So
he's a big boy though. He's a father. He's 23. He's a big boy, but I understand where you're coming from.
You know, the whole back behind the scenes can be very overwhelming with the athlete briefing and, you know, remind him to eat and get where you need to be and all that kind of stuff. His parents will be there cheering him on, so he's not like completely by himself.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's not giving mom or dad his coach's pass. So.
Yeah, I got you. And that's kind of
that makes me feel good.
Yeah, I'll definitely, we can definitely reach out and we can link up for sure. I just, I'm kind of used to it, like just because of my schedule. Like I usually train by myself anyways. Consider myself maybe a little bit of a lone wolf, but we'll definitely link up, and I'd love to talk to Drake. So
very cool. Okay. So I think you kind of already answered this, but I'm going to let you sort of wrap it up in a bow here. Ultimate goals for the weekend.
My ultimate goals for the weekend are, kind of sound like a broken record, but to put my absolute best products on the floor and qualify for the CrossFit Games. So so I try to be process oriented like that. So I'm going to try to put the best strategy into the workouts and stay true to myself. And because in some of these workouts, man, like these dudes come shot out of a cannon. And so it takes a lot. And I'll talk to Drake a little bit about that maybe too, because you have to stay within yourself. And if you have the capacity to do that, then by all means you need to do that. But it's hard on that floor to stay true to your strategy. And if your strategy is just to hit the gas the whole time, then so be it. But to attack it from the right mindset. So I hope to be there, get primed correctly, have my nutrition and everything squared away so that when I step on the floor, I can compete at my highest capacity. And hopefully at the end of the weekend, that puts me in the top 5. I think top 8 would be last chance qualifier. That'd be plan B, I guess. So I'd be lying if I said, well, if I come in 10th, but I did my absolute best, I'll walk away happy. I'm just too competitive to look at it like that. But so I absolutely hope to and expect to qualify for the games. And if not, we'll take that as it comes and then put in a plan for the next year. So that's what I'm hoping to do.
So this is not your last ditch effort to make it either. You're planning to continue no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. While I'm feeling good and feeling like I'm in the best shape of my life in my 20s, I hope to see where I can go in the sport for sure.
Awesome. Well, I would like to say that, you know, we were one of the first folks that interviewed you before all that happened. You know, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sure. Appreciate it.
Well, Jack, Rozema, it's been good to meet you. Thank you so much. And, we wish you the best of luck. We will not be there, but we will be watching for sure.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.